Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi there, I'm Amanda Stevens and welcome to Retail Renegades, where we explore the inside secrets of retail success stories, disruptors and entrepreneurs who are shaking the establishment, carving new niches and challenging the traditional bricks and mortar model. Now imagine if the secret to more meaningful relationships, better communication and just being more present in general was contained in this tiny box. What would be inside it? Well, today we're going to find out. My guest today is Maya Browers from Fuelbox Australia, a business that's fostering better conversations between husbands, wives, families, friends, and even corporate teams. By the time you've watched this episode, you'll not only have your entrepreneurial spirit inspired, you'll also have some powerful conversation starters to pose to the important people in your life. Maya, welcome to Retail Renegades.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, Fuelbox was invented by an entrepreneur in Norway. Firstly, tell us what it is, because you've launched it in Australia. You have the exclusive license to it. So firstly, tell us, what is Fuelbox and how does it work?
So Fuelbox is a box of open questions. I'll start with the couples box. It's 170 questions in 10 topics. And really the idea behind it is, in the world that we live in today, we're so consumed by technology and our lives are so busy and with work and kids that we don't really get the time to sit down and have those face-to-face conversations that we need to have. And Fuelbox is a tool to help you have those conversations.
So tell us, how did you come across it?
Well, talking about technology, I saw it on Facebook. My husband used to work with the woman who created it in Norway, and we saw it posted on Facebook one night. And I really connected with her story because, similar to me, she's a mum. She was finding that she wasn't communicating with her husband as much as she would like to. So she created Fuelbox. I won't tell you the whole story, but yes, I just really connected with it, and we got a box and we used it, and I just knew that it was something really special and something that other people would appreciate. So we decided to start talking about bringing it to Australia.
It is really special, I have to say. You sent me a box, so we had a box in our household for 4 days, and my husband and I, as a result of it, we did have conversations that were powerful, they were meaningful, and they're conversations that we wouldn't normally have. As connected as you feel you might be to another person, these are just really to prompt, I guess, better conversations and more meaningful discussions, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, we all talk to our partners, obviously, but it's what do we talk about? You know, sometimes I say to my husband, let's have a talk. Well, what are we going to talk about? You know, after 10 years of marriage, you seem to talk about the same things. You talk about your kids, you talk about your daily work, what you've done on the weekend, you know, just those daily sort of things. But to actually, you know, have conversations like you used to when you first met, where you actually asked questions, where you actually, you know, wanted to know what that person was thinking and feeling and share things about yourself. That's what it's about.
All prior to social media.
Yes, that's right.
So talk us through the process of getting the distribution rights to Australia. So you reached out to the woman who invented it in Norway. You said, hey, we're interested, or you got a box. And then you decided, hey, we could do this in Australia. What was that? What was the next step?
Well, that started probably January last year, around January. And it was just I mean, she had already had someone with distribution rights in Denmark. So that had already, you know, the idea of sending it around the world was already something that she had thought about. And at the same time as we were thinking about it, Singapore was also coming on board. So we just had many conversations, really, over Skype, just talking, how is this going to work? You know, how are we going to do this? I mean, I had never done anything like this before. I'd been a stay-at-home mum for 7 years. I'd worked in entertainment before that. So, you know, doing something from scratch was not something I ever thought I would do. So there was a lot of conversations about how we would make it work.
And was this driven by, like, were you wanting to do something entrepreneurial?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I knew I couldn't go back to what I originally was doing, the hours. And I wanted to do something. I've always done things that I'm really passionate about. So I knew I couldn't just pick any product or anything. It'd have to be something that I really felt heart and soul, I can put my whole self into it. And that's why when I saw it, I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was just, I had to do it, you know. It was just, yeah.
And so you've not had experience in doing this sort of thing before. Firstly, how did you go about negotiating exclusivity for Australia? What sort of promises did you need to make, or?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously she could see my passion, and for Berta, if you knew her, that's a big thing. You know, she knew we loved the product, and obviously she knew my husband, so they had a relationship, as friends before that, so she knew he was someone that she could trust. And she just wants someone that really can really spread the message of what we're trying to do. There was just lots of negotiation. I mean, obviously the standard fees and whatnot negotiations, but generally she just wanted someone who was passionate about it and who would do the best that they could do to get it out in Australia.
Great. So what was the first step in terms of launching it? How did you kick the process off?
Well, I guess in launching it, we obviously started with social media, even though in saying that we don't not like social media, or we don't not like technology. You have to use it. Every business does.
Yeah. It's like be on social media less unless you're reading about our product.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And obviously trying to get it in as much press as possible, and just really talking to people. We did a lot of networking nights, and because really it's the kind of thing, it's not like a normal product. We couldn't really sort of look at a benchmark of another product and see how they launched it, because it's not a lipstick or a handbag. It's something so specific that we didn't really have anything to go off of. We went off obviously what they did in Norway, but that was very different to what works in Norway doesn't always work here.
Yeah, it's a completely new product and a completely new concept.
That's right.
Did you feel that in the beginning that was an advantage or a disadvantage?
It's definitely an advantage because we don't have a lot of people competing against us, so we don't have to fight for space in the way of the same product. But the disadvantages are that people don't get it. We really have to try and explain the concept that it's not just a box of cards with questions in it. There's so much more to it than that. So, yeah, we have to kind of explain it a little bit more.
And what do you feel have been the advantages and disadvantages of marketing someone else's product versus a product that you had invented?
Well, definitely all her experience is an advantage that, she could and still does, help us and inspire us all the time with ideas, and she's 2 years ahead of us in launching. So, we could definitely talk to her about what works, what doesn't work. But I guess the disadvantages are, getting press and things. You're always going to get more if you actually are the person that created it. Even though it is an interesting concept, it's, I'm not the person that put it all together.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so the main channel for this is online. Do you have physical distribution as well?
Do we have it in stores?
Yeah.
No, we don't have it in stores. We're just selling online at the moment. I'm not saying we wouldn't want to sell it in stores, but obviously they'd have to be quite specific stores, and people that really understood the box and understood what they're selling and were passionate about it as well. We wouldn't just have it in mass sort of stores. So we have been approached by a few people and we're talking to them about it. But yeah.
And talk us through some of the PR that you have had. How did you go about getting publicity? Because I know that's really helped things along for you, is getting that free PR. How did you go about that?
Well, originally I started doing it myself, just sending boxes to people, writing letters, and that worked in a small scale. But in saying that, the best thing I've done so far is hiring someone to do some PR for me, because it's just too time consuming, and I just don't know enough about the process to really get it as far out there as I need it to. So definitely hiring someone to do the PR for me has been the best thing that I have ever done.
And how did you go about finding that person?
Well,
for someone watching this who's got a startup business, what lessons could you share with them, or perhaps mistakes you've made things to avoid or things to look out for when you're choosing a PR person?
Well, I definitely wouldn't go with someone just straight off the bat, like just the first person that shows any interest. The great thing that happened to me was a woman bought 2 boxes at Christmas and then contacted me and said that she also did PR and would love to help me out, and we met and obviously connected, and she's a fantastic woman and really loves the box and is just as passionate as I am about the box and understands the message that I need to get out. So I feel very safe in knowing when she approaches people or pitches the idea to people that she is basically speaking my words. And that's the most important part, because if somebody's sort of just randomly trying to get you PR but not really, selling the
Understanding.
brand the
Yep.
way that you want it to be sold with the message that goes along with it, it's not going to work. So it's very important to find that person. And after that, after hiring her, I had 3 or 4 people approach me. But, I was I'm very happy with her.
Yeah, so someone who can be passionate and strategic
Yes.
about the message.
And someone that you can, call whenever. You don't feel that you're nervous to call or you're only allowed to call at certain times. I can text her or call her at any point. She's like a friend to me now. So it's really important to have that, I think.
Absolutely. And apart from PR, what are some of the other things that have made the biggest difference in the growth phase?
Oh, definitely the support of other people, family and friends.
Yep.
It's a definite, you need people that will support you and always like your Facebook page and always, comment on things and share it around. And, you really need that support from other people. And bringing in, just different people that you meet along the way that want to help you and that say how much they love it and will do whatever it takes to, introduce you to that person or take it along somewhere and show it to someone. I mean, they're the things that are really important, I think.
And you've touched there on social media. What role has that played and what have you learnt along the way about how social media can help build a brand?
Well, definitely that the great thing about social media is we can really target the people that, or, the market that we really want to target. Obviously, the couples box sells a lot to mums, so we can really focus in on that and be part of a lot of mum communities, and I can really get the word out there. So it works in that regard. I mean, it can be a little bit hit and miss with the advertising because, with Facebook I'm talking about, it all depends on the algorithms and what's happening on Facebook. So you don't really know if you're, getting the right people that you want to get. But definitely the targeting, it helps.
And what have been some of the other things that you've done to market the product and get exposure for it in those markets?
Well, like I said, we've done a lot of networking. We go to a lot of events. My husband goes to a lot of events. Obviously, my husband works doing the team leadership and innovation boxes, which is a very different
target audience.
Very different from what I do, the couples and the family. So he spends a lot of time going to, networking events and, meeting people. That's what you have to do. And I've done that as well because just to get to know people and, since I haven't been in this industry before, it's a lot about meeting people and who you know and...
Yeah. Absolutely. So you're completely new in the market, like you're a new product and a new concept. Is the emergence or the threat of competitors something that you worry about?
Oh, I think with any product you're going to worry, aren't you? It's a protected brand. I mean, they could copy it loosely, but they can't copy the exact thing. But I think if you've got a strong brand and the people, we're in Singapore, in Germany, Dubai, Denmark and Norway and Australia. So all the people, we're such a strong global team and we really all believe very passionately about what we do and providing the best products and the best questions. And I think that, you can't really compete with that. We're always trying our hardest to give the best service and really provide people with a great experience of Fuelbox and what it means. So I don't think you can really copy that.
Yeah, and I guess having that support of that global network makes being a solopreneur here in Australia a lot easier.
Oh, completely. Yeah, we're always, we have global fuel team meetings and we're always talking and emailing each other and what did you do in Germany, what worked and what blogs did you write and So you can replicate some of their successes. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about the license model in a moment because I think there's some really powerful lessons, but we will have a short break. You're watching Retail Renegades on Business Blueprint and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Retail Renegades on Business Blueprint and we're here with Maya from Fuelbox Australia. Of course, you can join the conversation on your favourite social media platform using the hashtag Retail Renegades. Now, Maya, we've touched a little bit about on how you got the distribution rights for Fuelbox in Australia exclusively. For someone watching this who has perhaps seen a product that they like that's not distributed in Australia or the country that they're in, what would your advice be of how to approach and how to go about securing those distribution rights?
Well, I would definitely...
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.